voice again.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so hi everybody.
Oh, are we live?
We are live.
Oh,
I know there's no like lead in or anything. We are streaming on June 14th, and it was super nice and cool weather all week. And then today it decided to be super hot again, right for the stream because the weather hates me. Mia's on her way, but in the meantime, we have a Heather.
I'm fun sometimes.
You may know her from Heather's Handhelds on Loading Ready Run.
I play the Vigima games there.
Vigima Games.
Yeah, Vigima games.
Oh wait, do we have signal? Is that only one person?
I assume. People say Hodor, they can see us.
Hooray! Okay, I was gonna like... I'm gonna spin on my desk for no reason. I was going to continue on with Deck of Many Things because I haven't drawn one in like 2 weeks, which is bad ashras. And I started on one that I might work on later, but then I'm like, you know what I haven't drawn in forever? Steven Universe. So that's what I'm going to draw today. And we're going to chat with Heather. And thank you guys for, what's the word? Not being tempted by the Obsidian stream that's going on right now.
Oh, is there an Obsidian stream? I think there's there's a Bethesda one.
Oh, that's the one, yeah. Right.
For the E3 times. I have been having a hard time keeping up on my Twitter because everyone I know has been tweeting about the Nintendo World Championships.
World Championships.
Yeah, which is a really misleading title, given that you had to be an American citizen to participate.
What is it exactly?
It's I guess it's a thing they did like back in the 90s.
Okay.
Where you compete with like video games, so kind of like the Omegathon.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Only they did it this year as a look, we're bringing this back for E3, and you can go to Best Buy and do qualifiers, and it's World Championships. Also, if you're not American, you can't participate.
That's the bane of our existence, by the way, for anyone here who's not Canadian. We get all the same channels and all the same advertisements on, like, I don't know, like Pringles will have, like, enter to win, blah. Or, like, answer this trivia thing, and blah. And we know all the answers, we know all the same shit that you guys do, and then it'll be, like, in the fine print, by the way, if you're Canadian, fuck you! We can swear on the stream, too.
And then, so they did a bunch of matches today. It's essentially, they used it as a big promotion thing, because they're bringing in, like, Mother 1 as Earthbound Beginnings. Sure. I have no interest in that series, so I don't really care. They did, like,
tell us how you really feel, Heather.
Their big ending was, like, Mario Maker.
Okay.
Which I guess was really intense or something based on my Twitter feed, but I wasn't watching. I was hanging out with people.
Oh, MeTalks1 is watching both, because he's a sorcerer, apparently.
Oh.
I see how it is. Sharing screen time. But yes, now that we have Heather here, we can ask her all the, like, horribly embarrassing questions that we've answered already.
Horribly embarrassing questions.
Well, more just tell us stories about horribly embarrassing moments, or horrible injuries, or really interesting things that have happened to you.
I mean, I was pretty good in not the. I wouldn't say I wasn't adventurous as a kid, but I was good at not getting the hurts.
I was
getting bones broken. Never happened for me.
I've never technically broken a bone, but I have broken my nose 3 times.
I think the worst thing that I can recall that I did, I've probably done something stupid, or is when I was like 5. I got a hold of some nail polish, and
I'm really fascinated as to where this is going now.
I can kind of recall it. I like pulled it out of the bottle, and it was all goopy and interesting, like paint, and I lifted it really up high above my head, just like that, and it dropped right into my eyeball.
Oh no!
What happened? I screamed. I woke up my mom, who was napping. And then the rest of the story is go to emergency room, get eye flushed out, get told not to do stupid things ever again, and get nail polish taken away for
forever.
For forever, yeah.
My goodness, that never even occurred to me as a thing that could happen to anyone.
It was so interesting how goopy it was, and I wanted to look at it from a different angle. I guess I don't know. I was 5.
That's fair.
Kind of dumb when you're 5.
You can pretty much get away with anything. Like, one time I did this. I was 5. Do you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Not actually, no.
There's a fun game that they play in that where, I think it was Marshall, one of the characters, played by Jason Segel, plays a game where he's like, okay, child or drunk, and he'll tell a story, and you have to figure out whether or not he was a kid or if he was drunk when he did it.
Trying to think of any other silly things I did as a child.
Do you have any siblings? Do they do anything stupid?
I mean, I have a brother, but he not really capable of doing stupid things.
Everybody's capable of doing silly. That's quitter talk.
Okay, well, my brother's special needs, so he doesn't really. No.
I'll just shut up.
I do remember. I want to be embarrassing. In I think grade 1, I peed my pants.
In school?
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
Let's see. I really had to go to the bathroom. Clearly.
Clearly.
I raised my hand because I was a good kid and I asked permission instead of just leaving like all the bad kids do. I think the teacher didn't believe me and said no.
Okay. I need to mention, I'm sure other people have experienced this, obviously Heather has, how ridiculous it is that teachers didn't let you go to the bathroom if they just didn't fucking feel like it.
Yeah, she said no, and then I spent the horrifying moments of listening to the teacher, not leaving the room because I didn't want to get in trouble, and like slowly sitting down on the floor, trying to hold it in, and not being able to, and then I believe the entire class got punished for that. We all had to stay after class for detention.
Because the teacher wouldn't let you go to the bathroom and you had... Wow.
Yeah.
Teacher of the year right there.
Special times. Oh, she was retiring like the next year.
So she straight didn't give a fuck.
Seems to happen with, you ever have that where you get like the really nasty teacher and it's like they're retiring within a year or two?
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like, I wasn't a troublemaker when I was a kid at all, but like, because I got picked on so badly when I was a kid, they tended to be more sympathetic towards me, I guess. But I never really had that, like, straight don't give a fuck teacher.
I only had a couple.
I had a bunch of really, really, really old teachers that, like, were super close to retiring and would put up with zero bullshit. I think I told a story on the last stream, or maybe one before that, where a bunch of them were teasing me in the hallway, and he just came out and tore them a new one until they cried. Which made me really happy. I assume that's what siblings feel like when the parents ream out the other child.
Probably. Especially if you're the sibling that gets in trouble a lot, maybe.
Yeah.
Unjustly, too.
It's just so satisfying to be like, I'm not in trouble. But I was a single child growing up. I didn't know I had any brothers until I was 17? No, later than that, like 20.
I know we had an asshole of a teacher in grade 6 who liked to call us stupid and slam a ruler across our desks to scare us, and we would do things to him like the window in our classroom looked out over the parking lot and we knew his car was there, so we would always stand really close to the window and like make it sound like somebody was doing something to his car, so we'd always run outside. Which, you know, didn't like make him any nicer towards us, but I don't think he was going to be nicer anyway.
Whoa! Quinlan had a teacher give him detention for being punched by someone else.
That's
what the fuck?
Weird.
Fucking teachers, man.
I mean, I know the last time I punched someone in school, I had to write them a note apologizing.
I bit someone when I was...
Heart-shaped note. It was kindergarten, so...
I bit someone when I was in grade 1. And they wanted me to write an apology letter. And I refused on the basis that we were playing Lion Tamer. And I was the lion. And he had no business having his hands that close to my face. But yeah, he was super mad at me, and I don't think ever talked to me again after that. But yeah. That was my, like, one glorious stand in school in grade 1. I refused to apologize for biting someone.
I'm just surprised I didn't get into more trouble in junior high when I would kind of half beat up boys for being stupid. So they'd say things and then I beat them up.
I think...
And then other boys would get mad at... Because they were the weaker ones. They weren't, like... I wasn't dumb. I didn't take on the guys I couldn't take on.
Yeah.
But they would get mocked for being beaten up by a girl, which then meant
I was
to
gonna
go beat them
say,
up too.
like, I think that we might have been one of the last generations, at least in this area, meaning Western Canada, that has stopped or had shamed people for getting beaten up by girls, so they didn't necessarily report it or take it seriously. Whereas, you know, when you're in elementary school, you haven't hit puberty yet, everyone's the fucking same, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, and granted, physically, in high school, it's a little bit different because men are slightly stronger and on, you know, different hormones than women. But it's never okay for anyone to beat up anyone. No. But yeah,
wouldn't advocate it,
I think we
did it.
Yeah, we finally kind of hit that point. I'm not saying that their kids aren't going to beat other kids up. Like, it's just going to happen. It's awful, but it happens. But the whole, like, you know, oh, you got beat up by a girl, so you didn't get beaten up, finally, I think, is gone. Like, beating up is beating up.
Yeah, it really hurts whoever punches you. But it really just does hurt.
Yeah. A fist is a fist is a fist. God, considering that I was huge all through school, I never actually got into any real fights. I had one, I might have told the story already, I had one glorious moment, I forget what I've already said on stream or not, to all you people who haven't tuned in before. I had one glorious moment in high school where someone tried to pick on me. Was it a thing in your high school that people pantsed people? I
don't recall that, no.
Okay. When I first entered high school, pantsing people was a big thing. So, especially in gym class, when everyone was wearing those friggin' Adidas tearaways that came off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they would just rip your pants off. So a lot of girls actually resorted to wearing, like, bike shorts underneath their tearaways or something, or underneath whatever they were wearing. But I was always terrified that I would get pantsed because I was much bigger than all the other girls, and, like, it's one thing if it's, like, you know, the cute skinny girl who's got the same figure as everybody else getting pants, like, lol, 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 pull their pants up, they go on their day, right? But it's another when you've been made fun of for how you look. And someone approached me, and I could tell, I knew their tactics of, like, you know, someone distracts the person who's getting pants, and the other person comes up behind. And I turned around, and someone was coming up to me, and their hand was already out, and I did this weird, like, ninja move where I, like, whipped their hand around and put it aside. No idea where it came from. But they thought that I knew something, like some sort of karate or something. And they're like, whoa, slow down there. And just walked away and never came near me again.
It's great when you can fake people out.
Yeah, especially when you're bigger than them. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really happened at our school that I knew of was ping pong paddles.
Ping pong paddles?
Yeah, they had a thing on first day. You know, it's like the stupid hazing rituals.
Yeah, we were really warned about that, but nothing ever happened. Yeah.
As far as I knew, it wasn't actually really a thing that happened, but kids would hear about it, so they would get ping pong paddles, and if you got caught doing it on school property, of course you got in trouble. So they would go hang out near the mall, because the mall was actually not that far from our school, and try and catch first years. Who just didn't leave the school grounds during that day because
they're not idiots. Yeah.
Ash confirmed high school ninja.
I was a high school ninja. I was a really, really, really fat high school ninja. I don't know, like, I'm sure I've mentioned before when I was in high school, like, yes, I was overweight, but in addition to that, I also just, like, blossomed early. So I looked about 4 years older than everybody.
Yeah.
Because I was huge. Like, I was, 5'8" in grade 9. So I'm 5'10" now, so I'm 2 inches shorter in grade 9, so that's the second year of high school. And at that point, I was, like, 200-ish pounds. So yeah, I was
lots of reasons to make fun of.
Yeah, cannonball walking down the hallway, right? And at some point I just decided to own it, and I like started dyeing my hair blue and being like, if I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb,
might as well just go all the way.
Might as well own it. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah, at some point people just started to fear me, and I'm like,
I mean, it works.
I've never done anything. I never did anything in high school.
You don't have to. You just have to get the right, like.
I'll take it, but
rep going. It doesn't even have to be a great rep. You just need enough of people to think that you might do something.
Exactly.
And you can survive.
My one friend going into high school, like, flat out admitted to me that she was hanging out with me because she figured people wouldn't fuck with me. And I'm just like, that's fair, I guess.
I've heard worse reasons to hang out with someone.
It's high school. People are awful.
I know that in, like, what was it? In grade 4, I found out that I'd taken kindergarten twice, and so I thought that meant I had failed kindergarten, and I was horrified because I was a really good student at the time, until I figured out high school was bullshit. But turned out, so my birthday's in October.
Oh, I'm gonna have a story exactly like this.
Yeah. And I went to school when I think I went to kindergarten when I was 5. I did fine. The teacher decided to tell my parents that they didn't think I would be able to maintain friendships very well if I continued on into school and stayed with all of my peers.
If you can hear us buzz again, sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry, continue. October, yeah.
Yeah, so they said what should be done is I should retake kindergarten because then I'll be a little bit older and I'll adjust better throughout school, which is a lie because that meant I developed earlier than everyone else, and when you're first, it's not good. It also meant I was slightly older than everyone else, which then people told me I must have failed a grade, which I had no recollection of ever doing, because how do you fail?
Kindergarten, yeah.
Yeah. And, it really actually messed me up for a little while.
Yeah, I can relate to that in a couple different ways. I wasn't ever held back, but I actually got into school early, so on top of being more developed and bigger than everybody else, I was actually younger than 99% of everybody. The cutoff date, I don't know if it's the same in America, but the cutoff date to get into school is your birthday has to be like September 15th or something, and if it's before that and you're not 5, then you wait till the next year to go into kindergarten or something like that. You're supposed to be turning 6 as you go into kindergarten, if memory serves. But my mom wanted me to go into school even though my birthday was in December and not wait for the next year. So she fought God knows how long to get me into school, and then she finally signed me up for kindergarten at my elementary school, but did not know that she signed me up for French immersion, which is something offered in Canada, where you take kindergarten in French. And because you're so tiny and you basically don't know the language anyway, which you do, and that's a lie, you're just supposed to learn French by being immersed in it. So every day we sang the national anthem in French, we did all of our colors in French, we did all of our numbers in French, and I couldn't figure out why they were different from what my mom had already taught me. Hello! I'm so sorry.
So this is what happens when I'm late? You just...
No, I put my phone on the bed so that it wouldn't buzz on the desk, and then I couldn't hear it.
Oh, thank you. The chair is yours.
Mia's here!
Yay! Yes, sorry guys, I was at a a listening party for a band I backed on Kickstarter a while ago, so they were like, come listen to the new album, and
Woo!
yeah, and it's really, really good.
So, in addition to being super confused and being put into school earlier than everybody else, I had no fucking clue what they were trying to teach me in kindergarten, and then I got into grade 1, and all of a sudden we switched back to English national anthem, and English colors, and English numbers.
Oh, were you in French immersion?
Yes!
Oh, no! Oh, dear.
She didn't know it.
My mom had no idea, and I forget how it came up, but finally, there was like the parent-teacher day that's like halfway through the year or whatever. She came into the class and saw everything. She's like, "Oh no!"
Did you just sign you up for the wrong?
I guess so. She had to push to get me into school early because I went in earlier than everybody else did.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Oh
dear.
Yeah, it was a thing. I still kind of know the French Canadian national anthem, but only phonetically, not because I know the words.
That's how I know most of my Hebrew still, is phonetically, just from memory. Because actually, the first, up until the end of grade 5, I was in a little Hebrew elementary school, so half the day was in Hebrew, and the other half was in English, and that was interesting. Yeah.
People who can actually, like, grasp a second language absolutely astonish me.
Yeah.
I've been really, really, really trying. Since I have that wonderful base, I've been really trying to, like, catch up on French, so whenever I can, I'll go on to, like, Duolingo, is that it? And, like, you know, go through, like, little things, and, you know, I can ask for more French fries.
Okay.
Okay.
I can say
That's
your head
good.
is a pineapple.
That's good.
Seems like a bad thing to say.
Very important. Very
But,
important.
okay.
But, like, I don't know, like, I never really grasped being able to speak another language, and every once in a while someone will say something in a movie in French, and I'll be like, oh shit, I know what he said! Yeah,
Nice.
I know a secret!
Yeah.
But that's it.
I think the only French thing that's ever retained is, like, cheese omelet, and only because of Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you know,
No one will ever forget how to say cheese omelet.
That is a good episode.
But Brad knows quite a bit of German, so every once in a while, like a character on a TV show. I just finished the new season of Orange is the New Black.
I'm like a little over midway through it.
Okay, so nothing against it, no spoilers. I did not care for this season at all. I thought it was incredibly slow, incredibly too, I don't know, like happy-go-lucky. Like, it focuses too much on characters that you don't give a fuck about. And there's like 2 episodes where I'm just like, oh, that's really awesome. Oh, that's a really big problem. And then they just fucking abandon it.
No, that's no good, yeah.
And it's so frustrating because season 2 was so magnificent.
Yeah. Oh, see, my heart broke for Jose that whole season, because I've had that happen. Like, obviously not with sociopathic drug kingpins, but I've had it happen where, like, a close friend of mine, like, somebody else comes in and just kind of things just fall apart socially, and you end up alone and forever alone.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've had one of those. I'd like to keep it that way.
Yeah.
We're gonna be friends forever, right, Ash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
It's on the internet now, so it's ironclad.
Yep. Yeah.
Years from now, we'll be fighting and be like, well, I'm going to turn on YouTube. Give
Remember
you an
that time?
education right now.
Remember that time?
You promised.
Yeah.
Hey, chat. Do you guys watch Orange is the New Black? I would like to hear anybody else's thoughts on the season, because Brad hasn't watched it yet and it's driving me nuts.
I've enjoyed, I definitely see, like, I'm hoping that certain things, you know, that you say are dropped, I'm, like, kind of dreading finding out which ones they are. I've enjoyed it, I don't know, it's been a fun ride so far. I've also, Q-Monster introduced me to Scrubs a couple of nights ago.
Yes!
Yeah.
The last season is
yeah,
but
from my research, I think I might go ahead and skip that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's, my dad's a doctor, and that show is so hysterical, because,
it's fantastic.
Because I know people like that.
The humor in that show is... yeah.
Have you seen Scrubs?
Watch it.
I've seen, like, the odd episode.
Hi, Sarah! Hi, Sarah!
Oh, Sarah!
Oh, pretty much everybody that you talk to agrees with me. Yeah, it's just, like, I'm not saying that it's bad, it's just boring
Not
compared
what
to
you
the
want
other
it to be.
two.
Yeah.
I don't know, but here's the thing, I haven't read the book.
Me neither.
So I also don't know how much they're taking from the book. So for all I know, they've just taken a few chapters where not that much happens.
Yeah.
And they're saving up, they've already signed on for season 4.
Yeah.
Like, after they did season 2, they put season 4 on the books. So I'm hoping that everything from this season is a big setup for season 4.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks that you have to wait a full year now, but
I have to go back and rewatch seasons 1 and 2, because, like, there are certain things that are really, really fuzzy, which is part of the problem of releasing it all in one bunch once a year.
Yeah.
Is, like...
Well, I watched season 2 in prep, because I had seen season 1 3 times, I think.
Yeah. See, I've only seen each season once, and I really should go back and rewatch it. Cause...
Season 2 is just worth rewatching, because it's fantastic.
It's really good.
Mm.
Yeah, I liked how you could tell they had taken some of the criticism that they got to heart. And they were even kind of somewhat aware of it, and they... Like, Piper at one point has this amazing speech where she's just like, well, I'm sorry, I'm white.
Yeah. My, I guess, test for it is when I watch season 1 and season 2, both of those seasons have at least 3 episodes that made me cry.
Right.
And then I rewatched season 2 right before I watched season 3. And I cried at the same episodes because they're that good.
Yeah.
Not one fucking tear. Season 3.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not emotional, I guess. Like, it's not... You don't care about a lot of the storylines.
There is one character that they literally put on a bus a couple of episodes ago, and I'm really hoping she comes back, but I don't know yet, so... Yeah. Twitter is apparently going apeshit over Game of Thrones as we speak, so...
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I haven't watched anything from this season.
Oh! Q-Monster finished BSG.
Hooray!
Hooray!
I've heard good things about that one.
So we can finally have, like, a full-on discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, not on stream, because some people...
Yeah.
You're not invited back. We should just have a stream that's entitled Battlestar Galactica Spoilers.
Yeah. And
just have an open forum.
Yeah. Agreed. Super great. I have to rewatch parts of that one, too, because it's been a couple of years, so Q was he would text me about certain things, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's right, that thing that happened with the person.
Almost every single episode that I watched, Brad was like, oh, yeah, this one. I'm like, well, don't put that tone in your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently a lot of people are super pissed. I feel like this is the year that Game of Thrones kind of...
What, actually finally
they're pissed at it, or
it became
fans so much that they actually
it fell off the pedestal. Like 4 years, it's been untouchable. There have been so many, like the overwhelming the greatest show ever, and then this season, people have just kind of started to turn on it. I don't know. It's interesting to watch.
I stopped watching after the first season.
I stopped in the middle of this season, and I haven't caught up yet.
I haven't seen anything from this season, but I've seen quite a few spoilers. Well, yeah. I shouldn't say they're even spoilers, just like quite a few, like, this happened on Game of Thrones. Yeah. It's not really, like, integral to the plot, but... Yeah. I'm sure everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah. I want to watch bad things happen to people I like repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's not always into that.
I think one of the Mary Sue made a good point that, like, you know, hey, you don't have to show certain things to tell the audience that that's a thing that happened.
Yeah. Absolutely. But
at the same time, too, I have to say this as a disclaimer for my, like, personality and my sanity. I am all for anybody expressing themselves artistically and having freedom of speech when it comes to, like, movies, TV, comics, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I guess the point that I'm trying to get across is there were other ways that I feel they could do that would have kept my attention.
Yeah.
and my fandom.
Yes.
Not, you can't do that.
Agreed. Agreed. Yes.
I have to make that very clear because I don't want my complaints to sound like they should censor anything because I'm against that.
Absolutely.
No, but that doesn't save them from
criticism.
Yeah.
And there is
you have to watch it.
Exactly.
And there's a difference between covering things that are difficult in good taste and in poor taste. There's decisions that get made, and
Sarah just realized what scene I'm drawing from Steven Universe. Yeah, I took a screenshot from the YouTube video, and I drew them in slightly different positions, because I
think your battery's dying.
Oh, okay. Chat, you're gonna get a little bit of a
sorry.
lesson here. I bought these new coils for this.
Okay.
And they're the lowest possible resistance that you can get on it.
Okay.
But for some reason, it doesn't want to connect with the battery right away. So you have to untwist it just enough to get the light going.
Okay.
And then twist it back on.
Okay.
But it's delicious. Next time I won't get those coils, but I bought them already, so I'm gonna use them, goddammit.
Got it.
And it's apple.
It's delicious.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
And there's no resistance when you pull in.
What else? I tried to watch *Halt and Catch Fire* because Lee Pace is in it, and
I've never heard of that.
It's a Showtime AMC, I think. It's either AMC or Showtime. But I think it's AMC. It's about the history, it's about early Detroit, and people working in computers and building a computer to compete with IBM. So it's kind of takes place at the start of the home PC manufacture, when computers are just starting to go from strictly a business thing to maybe personal use market.
Okay.
It's I couldn't get through the first couple minutes because it's really, really badly really badly paced, and it has one of the worst sex scenes I've ever seen. Ever. I was just wow, this is I don't even know, it is not clear even what they're doing right now. If you're gonna go for that, commit to it. But
unfortunate.
Yeah.
What are some of she just told us a story about injury. She poured some nail polish in her eyeball when she was a kid.
Well,
what are some other?
Dripped in my eye. I didn't full hog pour.
This is what I'm gonna do today.
Well,
what are some other good questions that we can?
Just want to remind you, it was 5.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It was not
exactly. I made that point. Oh, you were 5.
Yeah,
that's a thing. 5-year-olds do.
I think I've told my needle in the foot story. So,
yes.
I have a needle eyeball story.
What?
Yes.
No. Yes. I guess. Sure.
So I was taking.
Okay. Trigger warning. Needle eyeball story.
Yes. Also, Beach being a bit of a douche.
This is recent.
No, this was a couple years ago. When I lived in Edmonton, before I went to college, I found some teddy bear making courses.
Okay.
And they were weekend things, and I got a little behind, and so it was 2 a.m. sewing, trying to get my homework done so that on the next class I can finish it in class and not be a scrub. And I'm sewing, and the needle breaks, and I feel a pain in my eye. Because it broke, and I was trying desperately
on the machine?
The machine needle that, was moving really fast because I'm sewing. And I couldn't find the end of the needle. So I was afraid that it was in my eyeball, and I was looking around, and I couldn't find it.
Did you feel?
It hurt, so I wasn't sure if it was there, if it was just because it had hit.
Right.
And I was freaking out, because I can't do contact lenses and stuff. I can't touch my eyeballs. It bothers me. And Beej was awake, and he sees me crying, and he asks me what's wrong, and I'm like, I broke a needle, and I think it hit my eye, and it really hurts, and I don't know if it's in my eye, or I can't find the end, and I'm freaking out because I can't find the tiny tip of the needle, and then Beej is like, okay, well, I'll get a magnet. and if we move it around your eye, you'll be able to feel it. Yeah, that's the kind of fun. And we were dating at the time, I think. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I was angry at him the moment he said that. Supposedly he was joking. Then he took me to emergency, and the doctor had to put these orange drops in my eye to check the eye.
Yeah.
And, of course, I kept blinking every time he dropped them, so I got all these great orange stain.
Yeah, because it's a stain
around my eyes, and they checked it, and it was fine.
There was no needle.
It deflected. I didn't even have a scratch on the cornea.
Okay.
I was perfectly fine. But I wear safety glasses when I sew in half for that reason.
Okay, maybe we should...
Yeah. I went to class the next day.
Yeah.
They thought I was late, because it was super late at night when it happened, so I had to come in. And they weren't quite sure what was going on with my face, because I had all this weird stuff, so I told them, and one of the ladies was like, oh yeah, I had a needle hit my eye once, and that's why I have to wear glasses now, because I woke up like a couple days later and all the light looked weird, and I was like, oh, that's probably not normal. I should go. And she'd gotten her cornea scratched. And I'm like,
wow.
I am wearing safety glasses forever.
Wow.
In case anyone muted.
We should probably type unmute.
Yeah. I'm done now with that story.
It's too late.
Unmute.
The takeaway is, despite what you're working with at home, it is dangerous equipment. Perhaps you should wear safety glasses. Always, because you can hurt yourself.
Wow.
I mean, they made us wear the.
I feel like we should have like a little thing with like safety tips from Heather.
Yeah.
Fuck around with needles near your eyeballs.
Yeah.
So dangerous. Also, probably wouldn't have broken if I hadn't actually sewn over pins, because I didn't know you shouldn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
You really shouldn't do that. You break a lot more needles that way.
Yeah.
And they get to buy needles.
So I've heard.
Or new eyeballs.
Or new eyeballs, which is totally a thing you can buy.
Oh, I'm glad I got Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
He likes to come and bug me, so I'm glad I got him with a story.
Hi there.
I don't think I have any stories that are like super cringeworthy like that.
Yeah.
I actually forgot. I do have a story that's really similar to your pin in the foot one.
Right.
It's not the same. God, how old was I? I want to say I was like 8.
Okay.
So once upon a time ago, when my mom decided that I was too chubby and needed to be more active, she signed me up for a gymnastics class, which was a massive mistake because I was huge and a lot of the time I couldn't do what the other kids were doing because they were much smaller and much more flexible than I was, so it was embarrassing. But I made a friend in that class that happened to live on... People who don't live in Victoria may not know this, but we have an area of town that's just filled with fucking historical mansions, basically, and they're all inherited. It's like Upper Oak Bay.
Yeah.
But they're all really ancient, so the people who own them, yes, the property's worth a mint, but the house is falling apart. Because we don't even have people to fix shit in there anymore. And he lived in one of those houses, and I remember running around his house with him. We're singing like a Samurai Pizza Cat song or something, which, by the way, is the greatest show in existence.
You can get it on Blu-ray now.
Fantastic! That
I've
made
never
my
heard
day.
of this.
Yeah, there's something on Amazon.
Samurai Pizza.
It's
okay,
recent, like,
we need to have a Clone High / Samurai Pizza Cats marathon.
Ooh, yeah, we sure do.
Count me in.
We sure do.
She hasn't seen either.
No, I've seen all of Clone High.
Okay. Who? Oh, Brad hasn't seen Clone High.
Yeah, and I don't
think
think Q Monster has either.
Oh. Anyway, so we were running around his house singing the song, and the floors are all hardwood floors. And I stopped. I don't know how else to explain it. I felt traction in my foot where there was no traction before.
Yeah.
And I just stopped dead. And when something sharp enters your foot really, really fast, you don't feel it at first. So I stopped, and I looked down and tried to lift my foot off the floor and couldn't for a second. And a splinter the size of my finger had gone into the heel of my foot.
Oh.
No, that's
and
awful.
it just lifted out of the floor after a second, but once it did and the pain hit, you're 8, you lose your fucking mind. And very similar to your story, just had to go to the doctor, and I don't think they put any local on it. It was just like, it was totally just under the skin, like not even hitting muscle.
Yeah.
Just slid in there.
So they just cut it.
So they just cut the top layer of skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remembered that when you told that story last time, and I'm just like, shit, the same kind of thing happened to me. And it's the worst.
Yeah. In my case, there was no trace. It was a little part of a pin or a needle.
Ooh.
And there was no trace of it. All of a sudden, I just couldn't walk.
Did it get into your bloodstream at all?
No. It was just sitting there in the meat, as it were, of my heel.
Okay. Well, that's
and they...
something.
Yeah, so I don't actually have a scar to this day because a plastic surgeon just removed it on his lunch break. He was like, yeah, I could probably do that. So,
like, if you think needles in the eye stories are bad, like, our teachers told us some really horrendous stories about why you should never, like, some seamstresses, what they'll do is when they're working, they'll put, like, their pins here, and then things will happen and they'll trip, or whatever, and you
their
can
pins where?
They're pins, they're sewing pins, so they're just, like, attached to their clothing, because it's convenient and you're not doing whatever, and it'll be things like it'll pierce the skin, it'll get off like the head of the needle, it'll enter the bloodstream, it starts going towards the heart, that will kill you. Like, you hear all these stories from your teachers and you're like, why does anyone do this occupation again?
Traco Gamer did a John McClane when they were younger, bare feet on glass, which sounds amazing. Q Monster cut his head open while just falling over as a joke.
Yeah.
That seems about right. Yeah.
I just love that. Of course you did.
I know we did. I did a thing in high school. I had these jeans that had rivets all up the side.
Okay.
And
the most stylish of
yeah, they were really cool.
Yeah.
And I was racing a friend to get to the school because we had to go do something that night for a play or something, and I tripped and fell on my leg, and they just like all hit into my leg, and I was like, oh well, I'm fine. And then like later that night I had to like,
hey bartender,
pull like my jeans way off because they were all like glued from the rivets had hit so hard from the impact that I had all this blood down my leg that I never noticed for hours.
Oh wow.
It's not
sorry guys.
Fun.
That's cool. I this didn't happen to me, but it happened to a friend of mine. And it was 2010, I began dancing about 6 or 7 hours a week, spread across multiple classes because I clued into... Thank you.
Get to you next.
I sort of joined this class where the relatively insane teacher was like, oh yeah, I teach like these 3 other classes you should join. Also, you can choreograph stuff. Also, we're gonna put on a show. And I was like, fucking score! Like, I love to choreograph, and normally in a dance class you don't get to, right?
Yeah.
So I met she became a really, really good friend for that year in this class, and so we were doing, thank you, a fundraiser show at the Metro Theater downtown, and so for those who don't know, it's one of those theaters where the stage is sort of the flat floor, and then the seats rise up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, there's no orchestra pit, and it's not a raised stage, it's just a flat thing. So we had 2 shows. We had an afternoon one and an evening one, and so while my friend was rushing, because she and I were each were the principals, where we were in almost every dance, plus we had solos. So she was running backstage, and the backstage was about the size... There was just enough width between curtain and wall for one person to get through. And she was running, and she tripped over a light, or an electrical outlet that was sticking up from the floor, and broke 2 of her toes.
Oh, no, you need those.
And so we hobbled together to London Drugs, which was about 2 or 3 blocks away, and bought tape and gauze and like antiseptic and everything, and we taped her up, and she proceeded to do the second show.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
Which, yeah,
Like a boss.
like a fucking boss.
Buster!
Hey, Squeaks.
Squeaky, squeaky. Buster, why don't you come over here and sleep? Like a good dog. But then I wouldn't be annoying you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, nail polish in the eyeball. Feed your pants.
I can tell you one about a meat slicer.
Do it.
Yes.
Meat slicer.
Okay, so I have this tiny scar on my finger here.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably won't show up on camera.
Oh, yeah.
I worked in a deli for a brief period of time.
Buster!
Come on.
Daddy's
And,
got treats. Daddy's got treats. Go get him. Go get him. Where's Daddy? Go get him. He's not falling for it anymore.
Yeah.
It's been burned for the last time.
And so, you know, you slice meat, you have to clean the slicers, especially on meat that has a lot of coatings to it.
Yeah.
Head cheese, and head cheese is really just vile and gross. I don't know why people order that.
People eat the weirdest things.
Yeah. And I was in by myself. I hadn't been working very long, and I was cleaning everything, and there's a dial on the meat slicer. You turn to 0, because then the blade is all the way down.
Right.
And then you can clean it.
Okay.
So I turn the dial down, and I'm cleaning, and I'm moving, and I'm wearing gloves, because you're supposed to wear gloves. And then I feel this slight pain as I'm cleaning. Turned out the blade was partially bent up.
Oh no.
At least it wasn't running. It was off.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, that's weird, and I brought my glove up, and there's like blood coming out of this blue plastic glove, and it's the most surreal thing, because you're like, I shouldn't be able to bleed.
Yeah.
Well, that's not human. And of course I was also all alone, which you're not supposed to be alone in the deli, but it was really slow. The other girl hadn't taken her break, and she's like, you're probably fine. I've been down for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And of course I managed to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
And of course I can't find anyone else on the floor because it's late and most people are gone. And I found someone eventually, but then I had to make sure I went back so no one used that slicer because it had blood on it. And
Oh
I'm
no.
like, no. And freaking out, and other people finally see it, and they start freaking out more than I do, because they want to help me, and I'm like, you're not wearing gloves or anything, I'm bleeding, do you not know first aid, you don't do fluids.
Yeah.
And I made everyone nervous by refusing to sit down. And then my parents were like, okay, we're gonna take you to the emergency.
Yeah.
And they're gonna like make sure you're okay, you don't need like tetanus.
Yeah.
And the doctor wanted to just give me stitches right there and then, and I refused.
Really?
That's when I started to freak out, because I don't like needles and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I have this tiny scar, because I didn't let them stitch it up.
I have a scar on my index finger that is actually quite prominent.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it'll show up on camera either, but it is fairly large, and it's the night before I was supposed to go on tour in high school, a choir tour to Toronto.
You're in a rock band?
Yeah.
Mia, there's so much I don't know about you.
Yeah, I was.
Shit, I did the thing again.
Oh no! You had it!
I was looking at the other screen, I forgot there's a lag.
There we go. So we were, so just the night before I was supposed to go, oh no, it wasn't, it was, a convention I was going to. Anyway, it was the night before, and I didn't keep the cleanest room when I was a
Who did?
schooler.
No one did.
But anyway, my parents were, I think it was because my grandmother was supposed to be staying in my room, and they were like, what the fuck is this shit? So I got into a huge fight with my parents over, like, they were, like, speed cleaning my room.
Oh,
And,
wow, they were touching your things.
yeah, they were touching my stuff,
fuck
and they were
that.
yelling, and it was awful, but I had drawers, like built-ins, with these beautiful amber glass knobs. and one of them had broken off, and my dad was like, "Don't touch that." And I was like, "Okay," but I was really upset and really freaked out because there was lots of yelling, and that was the drawer. That was the knob I always used. So when I went to go open it, I just went for the knob, even though it wasn't there anymore. And so this, like, a little residual piece of glass went right on in. But because I was about to leave and there was no time, my dad just taped it shut.
Yeah,
So
like
I,
you do.
You're
like
a dad,
you do.
man.
Yeah, because, I don't know, he was an ICU doctor. He was just like, you don't need stitches on this. So he taped it shut, and he gave me the most severe warning of, like, you need to keep this clean, because if you don't, you could lose your finger. I was like, okay!
Yep.
But, yeah, so that's why I have a slightly larger scar than otherwise would be. So, yes, and you can just tape these things shut sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it works okay. In a pinch.
I used to live with a girl, I don't want to name her just because I'm scared of this being on the internet forever and her seeing it one day, but I used to live with a lady who was probably, like, the most, I want to say, like, stereotypical badass. Like, when you just think of, like, you know, the punk badass chick from a movie, that was her.
Cool.
She was fantastic in a lot of ways and really shitty in a lot of other ways. She was a huge flake. Like, if she had better plans, she would abandon you at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
But she, like, got into a fight at a bar legitimately one time, split her lip open, went to her car, super glued it shut, and then went back in.
What?
Like,
Wow.
like a fucking boss! And if I did that, I'd be like, I need to go get stitches, I hate you guys, man! Like,
Wow.
some people just breed badasses.
Wow.
No, we all had rooms that were disasters. I never kept anything on shelves. It was all in the middle of the floor.
Yep.
But I knew where it was.
Yes, of course. I knew where it was. Yeah.
It was all in the same spot. It was a very, very sophisticated filing system. My parents didn't approve.
They didn't understand.
I believe it was Einstein said that an empty desk is a signifier of an empty mind.
Desks are hard to keep clean.
Oh, yes, very.
Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Especially when you have to have stationery for reasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a haircut.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
It looks
I
awesome.
finally got the balls to shave one side of my head.
So cool and
I
great
don't
for
know
the
if you guys
summer
can see
times.
it.
It looks really, really good.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I've been talking about doing this for 6 months now, and every single time I've gone in to get a haircut, it's just like, oh, we've got that friend's birthday party, and what if I hate it? I don't want to hate my hair going to a party.
Yeah.
Super, I don't know, silly excuses.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was afraid to get it done, but, like, it is really scary cutting your hair to the shortest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily because I'm very much of the mind, like, it will grow back.
Yeah,
it's more
absolutely.
that I stream now, and I have to be on camera at least once a week, and sometimes I get asked to do feed dump, and I don't want to be like, but I hate my hair.
Yeah. Solution. I wear a hat. Or
I have one hat
monster
now.
of
Okay, that's
some
not
sort,
true.
According to a crap shot, I don't know. But it's at least a hat.
I'm not a big hat person. I don't know. I just don't feel like I've got the head to match hats.
Lazy. I don't like showering first thing in the morning, and so I don't like going through the process of having to style my hair, even though I know how.
Yeah. That's
and
fair.
then I'm like, oh, I'll just wear a hat today, and then that turns into every day.
Yeah, it is freaky. I ended up with this is the result of a years-long campaign of growing my hair out, and now it's probably the longest it's really ever been, but when I was in high school, after I got dumped by my very first boyfriend, I was just like, I don't care anymore! And so I had them cut it to sort of, like, right here, and then after that I was like, screw it, let's just go full-on punky pixie cut, why not? So, yeah, it is really, really freaky, but can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got a perm once in, like, grade 4.
Oh,
and
wow.
My hair was, like, this long. So what it really ended up doing was it gave me like this very curly pyramid head-shaped thing that was awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
My sister's hair is just naturally like that. It's just, she shaved her head for cancer once, and it, first of all, made 2 wigs out of just the one, and she was 11 or 12, I think, so not an adult head, and then when she was growing it out, she looked like a mushroom for a little while, because it just, her hair is so thick that it just...
Mushroom, sorry.
Yeah.
Only once, only once, and it was actually right before Desert Bus. This is probably what put the fear in me. Have I gotten my hair cut where I absolutely fucking hated it.
Yeah, I've only had it once. Yeah.
And I don't understand what exactly happened there, or like where the lack of communication was, but I went in and I'm just like, I would like you to cut my hair, and what I asked him for was the haircut that I've had for the last year, basically. Yeah. Like, I want it super short in the back, I want it like longer on the top, I want it to still look like, you know, don't shave my head like I just did, but like be that close to it.
Yeah.
So my rule is, if I can grab my hair in the back, it's not short enough. And he cut it to about here, and I'm sure there's a bunch of pictures. It was from the last Desert Bus that was held at the moon base.
Right.
And it was about here-ish. He got to that point after an hour of cutting my hair. I have a lot of fucking hair, by the way. It's really thin, but there's a lot of it. After an hour of cutting my hair, and just threw in the towel and was just like, I don't really think you needed any shorter than that. And I'm like, I don't really think that's what I asked for, though. And he's just like, yeah, but if I go any shorter, you see you've got a lot of hair, and then just started, like, throwing hairdresser terminology at me about why it won't work. And I'm like, I know you're wrong, because I've had this hairstyle before when I was in high school. But I've been sitting here for an hour while you've been cutting every single fucking individual hair like a noob. Wow. So, I'm just gonna pay for my haircut and not come back here, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fine for the day. Obviously, it's fine the day that you get your hair cut because they style it. But then when you back to where it's supposed to be, I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
But I had just spent like $70 on my hair, so I couldn't just like go in and get it done again immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was dyeing my hair neon red, and this is part of the reason why it's not anymore, it took 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Brutal.
That's...
5 hours. The first time I did it, because she had to bleach it twice, I was there for a long time.
That's a long time to sit around in a chair feeling the chemicals on your eyes, balls.
Yeah, luckily the dye that they used was really, really nice, vegan, like super, super permanent, but vegan, and it smells really, really good. It doesn't smell like chemicals. So that part was nice, but the bleaching was not so cool. And my hair felt like freaking straw for forever. What about you guys, chat? Maybe we should have... Oh, no.
It's almost break time.
Okay.
But...
Chat, do you have any awesome hair stories?
Or pictures
I was
from
just
really
about to
terrible
propose.
haircuts.
I was just about to propose pictures. I've got a terrible picture of myself.
I'll find a picture of me on that Desert Bus.
When we come back.
If you want to, you can email it to me. I'll type it in right now. So you can email me pictures of terrible haircuts. I understand if you don't have pictures from that phase in your life.
Yeah, mine
but
are all hard copies.
While we're on the break, I'll find a picture of me with that particular haircut I was talking about. And if you want to email me and just put in the subject line "bad haircut," keep in mind it will eventually be on YouTube. So if you don't want it on YouTube for forever, don't send it to me. But if you're brave enough to send me a picture of your bad haircut, I will show it on here, and we will join in your tears. We're going to go on a break, though, for about 5 minutes, and we'll catch you soon. Over here. Right. Ta-da!
Yay!
We're back. Okay, so... I found a picture. So I asked that guy to cut it so that it was super short and I couldn't grab onto it in the back. This is how he cut it.
Yeah.
So it's significantly longer in the back
it's
than
pretty
I wanted.
long.
But
And it was really nice, but after that, after you get your haircut, it starts doing other stuff.
Oh,
so this is one of my favorite pictures from Desert Bus, but as you can see, my hair just started flipping out
at the sides, yeah.
I've got that problem too with my hair. It likes to flip out like this.
That was like a week afterwards, so it was nothing like I wanted. Though that is an amazing picture.
Are those spats? Or are those part of your shoes?
Those are part of my shoes.
Those are really cool.
Yeah. And to coax Mia into showing a terrible haircut, I'm going to show pictures of me when I was like 21. But first, I'm going to get you guys to guess. 2 of the pictures are of me dressed up as members of KISS. You guys have to guess which members I dressed up as first before I'll reveal.
Oh.
Good.
Oh shit.
Oh, we got
2
shit.
people with haircuts. So we'll show those first.
Alright.
Let me put these side by side so I'm not overlapping.
Alright.
So this one's from Wade.
Okay.
And he says, not a bad haircut, but this is the same cut I've had for about 3 years now. It took me 2 places to find someone to do it right. Okay, so this is the haircut that you want.
Yes. Which is quite cute.
That's, yeah, totally fair.
Yeah.
Super legit. You have straight hair. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But seriously, good hair.
Yeah.
For
He's
real,
good.
real.
He's good.
I'm not showing you guys my KISS pictures until you guess which ones I dressed up as.
I mean, there's only like what?
There's
5,
only 4,
5,
so
Yeah,
guess which
4.
2.
Like 50-50 chance.
Pretty much. So this one's from Scott. Day after my 19th birthday, about 2 hours before a job interview with the provincial government.
Oh,
Somehow
no.
I still got a job offer.
Oh. I see.
That's not a bad haircut,
Yeah.
though. Fucking mohawk.
But
You don't look very impressed with it, though.
Yeah.
I could understand being like, I think getting a haircut before a job interview, like I can get why you do it, but at the same time, then I always play with my non-existent hair because I'll let it grow and
Yeah.
cut it, and then I'll do this hand gesture to nothing.
Yeah. Because you have to think of 2 of the 4. So I'll give you their stage names versus, because it's going to be the makeup and not the people. There's a Star Child, which would be Paul Stanley with the 1 star. There's the Celestial, which is the silver makeup.
Right.
There's the Demon, which is Gene Simmons with the tongue. And there's the Catman, which is Peter Criss with the cat makeup. So which of the 2 do you think I dressed up as?
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'll actually download the pictures.
That is correct. 19 is the legal drinking age in most of Canada.
In
Yes.
most of Canada.
Unless you go to Alberta where it's 18.
Yes. That was fun.
I mean, we get a lot of people from BC who come to Alberta so they can drink a little earlier.
It's not Demon and Starchild. Oh, where's my email?
Huh.
What the actual fuck? I swear I'll start drawing again soon. Starchild and Celestial, no.
Yeah.
Cat one and the Starchild, nope.
Will you give them a little hint as to...
Cat and Demon, they're running out of options, honestly. Yeah. Like, the next person, by process of elimination, must get it.
There you go.
Cat and Demon, no. Simmons. Simmons is just one. You can't guess just one. In the meantime, I'll show you a picture of me when I was like 20 with blue hair and god-awful eyebrows, if you'd like.
They're not that bad.
I painted them on blue.
Yeah, they're a little dark, but, you know.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Decepticons necklace. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. I like the green makeup
Celestial
with the
and
blue.
Demons, no! You're so close! There's only one other combination.
Oh, Q-Monster, please send a hair pic. Send the one where you look like Jesus. Please. It's so good.
Okay, I swear to God, the one combination that you guys haven't picked is the Catman and the Celestial.
Oh, he said that, didn't he? Oh no, he said Celestial and Starchild.
Yeah. So, here's me dressed up for Halloween, dressed as Peter Criss.
It's pretty good.
And here's me dressed up as a Come As Your Favorite Rock Star party as the Celestial, otherwise known as Ace Frehley.
Nice.
I kind of like Kiss.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I like it. He's good.
Is Q sending me a hair
Thank
picture?
You
Oh,
might?
so because I showed those ones, now I
Yes.
get to show Mia's.
Yes, so I cut all my hair off and dyed part of it purple and then went overseas.
Ash at MegaCynics.com.
Went overseas for 6 weeks, during which time a lot of the purple faded and my hair grew out significantly, and so this was the end result of that, and I look really tired and ridiculous.
Dun,
it was
dun,
so
dun.
ridiculous. Oh man. So ridiculous looking.
Is your hair naturally curly like that?
Oh yeah, it sure is.
Jealous. My hair is super, super straight, but limp. It doesn't hold
Right.
any shape. So when
Yeah.
people show me those, like that first haircut where it was just like, everything's going to the side. I'm sure there was product in it,
Yeah.
but it was straight.
Yeah.
And it takes me like hours of like ironing my hair in one direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys.
Alright, Q-Monster has apparently sent.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll show this one.
The man I love.
Quinlan, before I put this on here, you know this is going to be on the internet forever, right?
I think
Right?
it's already on the internet.
It is
forever.
kind of, but
I
yeah.
haven't put it on the stream yet. Alright, I'm not hearing a no. Dun dun dun! The facial hair is what sells it for me, because he's got the, like,
Yeah, the slightly
mastermind.
up.
Yeah. You look like you should be tying a maiden to a railroad track.
With parts of your hair.
Oh,
This is
fantastic.
serious business.
Serious business.
Serious,
I'm just gonna leave that up
serious
there for a while.
business.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it. I swear to
Okay.
God.
Thank you, Q.
Laser beaks. You said something about there was something wrong with it. I switched the colors of her shoulders because I noticed that on the break. Was that what you were talking about, or is it something else?
I think I saw earlier they mentioned that you're using an older coloring
Oh, yeah, probably.
than what is current. I actually haven't watched Steven Universe, so
I've
yeah.
committed to it, though.
Okay, that's fair.
Unfortunately, I started drawing the sketch of it from the video before you guys got here.
Right.
And I got the lines, like the initial lines done, and then I was just using a reference photo of Garnet that I pulled up on the internet
Right.
while we've been talking to you, and I can't really just like watch the video and just stare at the camera for
Yeah.
like 10 minutes, so I apologize. Wrong
Yeah, that's
Garnet,
fair.
but whatever.
Kanye
One of the
shrug.
things that I really do like about Steven Universe is that their outfits change as
Cool.
they
Oh.
regenerate.
Okay, that's not very
Common, yeah.
in North American cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a interesting mechanic to it, actually. Okay, don't quote me on this because I haven't read enough about it. But I believe that every this isn't really a spoiler so much as like it's just like how Steven Universe works.
Mm-hmm.
The crystal gems, they can die, like their physical bodies can die,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're just a gem until they regenerate.
Mm.
And when they regenerate, they can change their appearance ever so slightly. So, like,
Oh.
their clothing is kind of a part of them,
Right.
because they're not human.
Okay, cool.
And there is the first time you see that happen is with Pearl. Pearl gets killed by her own hologram. Her physical body gets destroyed by her own hologram. And when she comes back, she's permanently in her fencing outfit, I guess. Which is the outfit that I drew. This one.
Oh.
And before that, she was wearing something with kind of like a gauze sleeve thing over top of it.
Okay.
But when you see her regenerating, she actually goes through every single costume that you've seen Pearl in, kind of in silhouette, before she returns, including the outfit and the hairstyle that she was wearing in the flashback in Steven Universe to when she was, like, I guess 10 years younger, / the outfit she was wearing in the pilot that they abandoned entirely.
Wow.
So the, I guess, accepted fan theory is that, like, every regeneration they kind of get to choose their clothing.
Sure.
And it's kind of been followed up in recent episodes.
Neat.
Yeah.
So the show has actual continuity to it.
Oh yeah, it's like, the beautiful thing about this show is how it's still a show about almost nothing, but, like, there's so many deeper things that are just there that they don't put any weight on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a glorious backstory as to, like, who they are and why they're on planet Earth doing what they do, that seems to be in the background
Right.
for almost the entire series until it has to be brought up.
Okay.
But the main show is about Steven, who's half crystal gem, half human.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about him doing wacky adventures in, human land. And he just happens to be, roommates with the crystal gems who go and fight evil, but you never... Well, you do see it sometimes, but most of the time you don't see it. You just follow Steven, who's at the house,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really, really
kind
cool.
of like an Adventure Time thing where you don't really get to learn about the backstory.
Yeah,
except through, like, tiny things.
From what I understand, is like, I don't watch a lot of Adventure Time, but from what I understand, it's very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But this one spoke to me a lot more than Adventure Time did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of Adventure Time.
Yeah, me neither.
There's certain episodes I don't like of it. And it's sometimes just plain weird, but I do really enjoy the story that the world they've created within it.
Yeah. I had an idea for things, and I can't remember what it was. I had an idea for a subject.
If anybody... Oh, do you have any weird phobias or fears? We did that on, like, the second episode.
Let's think. I know I don't wear, like, rings,
Mm-hmm.
other than my marriage power one.
Did you just say marriage power?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's wonderful. I love it.
It's it's very powerful ring because it's the only person I put up with any bullshit from his beach, and this is why.
And not much at that.
No,
Yeah.
not really. It's a very weak power.
Oh, fantastic.
I have a phobia of wearing ring jewelry that it will get stuck on my finger, and then they will have to cut my fingers off, which I know is not how you remove rings that get stuck on your hand, but that
Actually, I worked at People's Jewelry for about a month and a half, and they have tungsten wedding rings for men.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
they
those
advise you that if you work with your hands in, like, a manufacturing job, not to get a tungsten ring, because if it gets caught in something, it is strong enough that the ring is not coming off. Your finger is.
They can't cut them. They can't resize them.
Yeah.
I just watched a really cool video on Facebook for just that. Have you guys seen the dental floss trick ever?
Of cutting cheese?
No, of getting a ring off. So
No.
I watched a video and this person had, like, an extremely swollen and blue finger because their wedding ring was way too small for, I guess, their size at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that you wrap a little bit of dental floss, like, right inside the ring and tuck one side of it underneath the ring.
Okay.
I'm going to try and explain this because this works way better when you see it. And then you wrap, like, from the ring to this knuckle in dental floss to make it smaller.
Right.
And then you take that side that you tucked underneath the ring and start unwrapping it from that side. And because you've compressed this part of the flesh with the dental floss, it will literally just spin it off of your finger.
Right.
So the pressure will get worse for, like, a minute, but then it will just come off.
Huh. Neat. Yeah.
I'm like, I would have never thought of that in a billion years. Like, I would just cut the ring off.
That's a good one. It was so funny. People's used, like, Windows 3.1 on their computers. It was all DOS. It was DOS. And sometimes we would switch away from DOS to go on Netscape Explorer to look at the intranet of, like, the people's intranet. And the computer had tapes. I hope I don't get in trouble by saying all of this.
I remember Windows 3.1 quite fondly because we had a program called Bob.
Yeah, Microsoft Bob.
Yeah.
Did you know that
Bob.
Comic Sans was invented specifically for Microsoft Bob?
It was my favorite thing to go on the computer, click on Bob and walk around like weird things and bring up the writing program for no real reason.
Yeah.
So talk to Clippy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Clippy.
Yeah, Clippy. Clippy should be in Smash Brothers. Just saying.
Ash, who is your favorite gem?
I'm gonna say Garnet.
Alright.
Which is one of the ones that I'm drawing. But I haven't seen a lot of the other ones. I really, really, really do like Rose Quartz from what I've seen of her.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to give away spoilers to people who haven't seen it, but she's not really around much.
I think of what other phobias I have. I know I don't like heights. Don't
Me
do
neither.
That well. I know I have like a couple weird ones, but I can't think of what they are.
See, I always put heights in the category of like that's not a fear so much as like common sense. Like, don't go to a high thing that you could fall off of.
It's not so much the heights as the fear of falling
off
on the
thing.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buster.
Boof. Boof, boof, boof.
Boofy boof boof.
Yeah.
I think I should just take these stripes off and paint them on.
Later.
We went to
Just in color.
What's that tower in Toronto?
CN Tower?
Yeah, we went there once, and there's like a see-through thing you can walk on, and you can look down, and it's really high up.
Same with Calgary
really
Tower.
Scary, and I went with Beej and Ian and our friend Dan. Dan was really funny because he had a camera with him, so to try and get himself to do it, he would walk onto the thing, not look down, and he'd take pictures of down, bring the camera up to see it, to give himself some distance. I refused to stand on it. Ian and Beej decided they should dance on it because it would be funny.
Oh god.
Beej mistook the idea that I was standing near the edge as that I really wanted to step on the glass.
Oh
but
god.
didn't want to. So he dragged me onto the glass. I made like one step onto it, and then I freaked out, and then I just started breaking down in tears.
Yep.
And then hid in the bathroom because I don't like crying in front of people.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And yeah.
Who does, really, though?
Yeah.
It's always so messy. And people look at you funny.
Yeah, I used to go at summer camp. We had a ropes course and a climbing wall, and I would go up on the ropes course, like on the zip line or something, and would proceed to freak out and cry and like sit there for 20 minutes and be like, nope, not doing it, not doing it at all. And yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
I had this horrible habit of every time I got a new job, the first day at that new job, I would be so obsessed with like trying to prove that like I'm the best person for this job, and so overcome with anxiety because of that I would just, at the end of the day, there's no avoiding it, I would start crying. And it was always a crapshoot as to whether or not I made it home before that happened. And I remember I worked at a fast food place called Schmick-Schmonald's.
I've worked at that place too.
Yeah. And I made it the entire shift. And right at the end of the shift, the person who was like, they give you like a test shift.
Sure.
Where you just kind of like go and clean tables and stuff.
Yeah.
The person who is like, doing my interview / deciding whether or not to hire me, she took you aside at the end of it, being like, okay, this is what I really liked about it, this is what I think you need to improve on, this is what I think, blah, 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 and then at the end of it, they're just like, you're hired.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, like,
yeah.
It's really difficult after working really hard for 8 hours to then be judged on it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I held it together, she walked away, and then the head manager came by, and I was, like, already starting to break down, and he's like, oh, by the way, because you work today, you're entitled to a free meal. What would you like? And I just started bawling.
Oh,
no! It was so embarrassing.
Oh, no!
I do remember the free meal thing. I did kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I did have once, like, I was really not suited. Looking back, I'm surprised that I made it as long as I did through, like, customer service and retail jobs, because I am so, as soon as I got a job that didn't involve talking to people at all.
The image that I was using for reference was just flipped, so her stripes are on the wrong side.
Oh no!
Curses! Oh well, whatever. It's flipped now. Don't even give a shit. Don't even give a shit.
So like, that was similarly, like, not a matter of if I would cry, but when, inevitably.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised that I made it as long as I did, but there was one, time at the used bookstore I worked at where...
Hey, barkeep.
A guy came in...
Yeah.
Thank you. A guy came in, because we sold bus tickets. And so he came in and he was like, can I have some bus tickets? I was like, sure, here's a pack of 10. And he's like, oh no, I only need one. And I was like, oh, we don't sell singles. In Victoria, tickets come in a sheet of 10, and that's what you buy, or you use change. And he lost his fucking mind. He was like, what is your problem? Like, I don't understand why you can't sell me this one thing. You know, in South Korea, they only, they sell single tickets. Like, I don't understand what's fucking wrong with you, blah, blah, blah. And I froze up, and I, like, forever owe this person, like, my dignity in my life, because the guy behind him in line was just like, dude, like, slow your roll, calm down. Like, he totally, I was just like, oh my god, whatever you want, it's free.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much, because I was just frozen to the spot. Yeah. I couldn't even, this person just went on a tirade about how awful.
Have you ever had that happen before? Was this your first time?
No one had really lost their shit like that on me before that.
You can tell which, if you see other customers doing bullshit like that, you can tell which employees have dealt with that several times, or which ones have never had it happen.
Are green,
before.
Yeah.
I sort of have a story like that. At that same fast food restaurant that shall not be named.
Yeah.
It didn't actually happen to me, but I was on shift watching everything happen. Some guy came through, so they have a policy there where if you go through drive-thru and get the wrong order, you can just phone in and be like, hey, you gave me the wrong thing. I ordered this, you gave me this, I don't have time to come back, can I come and get it tomorrow? And you can pretty much just, like, go and get it for free.
Okay.
It helps to bring in the receipt, depending on the manager that you get.
Sure.
But some people choose to abuse that, because...
They can.
You know, they can.
Yeah.
And so some guy came in one time with just clearly a bag that he had pulled from the garbage. And been like, you gave me the wrong stuff at drive-thru last night. I would like a different meal, please.
Yeah. I may have a friend who does bullshit like that.
Yeah, it's... I don't...
Not to that degree, but I'll tell you after.
And the manager was like, okay, this is totally empty, though. Like, and he's just like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, did you call in after you got the wrong order? He's like, no. And she's like... I can't just give you free food when you bring me a bag of garbage that's clearly been eaten.
Yeah.
And he argued with her for a while, and she's just like, if this happened, like, you really need to call us, because I can't really take your word on it now. Yeah. And I think technically they are supposed to take your word on it, or at least not argue, but she was having none of it that day. Mm-hmm. And so as he was leaving, he started yelling at her and, like, not threatening her, but, like, calling her bad names.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize it, but there was a police officer standing behind him in line. So as he walked away, he was like, fucking bitch, blah, blah, blah. The police officer's like, excuse me, sir, what did you just say? And the guy's like, nothing, officer, and, like, bolted out of there. And immediately the police officer went back in line, and the manager's like, what would you like today? It's free.
Yeah.
Like...
Traco Gamer worked as a networking support for a big ISP, and a woman called, immediately went into a spiel that she has all these qualifications, her cat is smarter than them, etc., and so they wanted to tell her, put the cat on, I can tell him what to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I have a friend who, not, like, to that degree of a thing, but Wendy's occasionally does a thing where if you order something and you go onto a website, you put in a code, and you'll get, like, a free Frosty for doing a survey or something.
Sure.
Every so often. And you can only do them, like, once a day. And so, because a lot of people just throw their receipts out, he would try to grab them off the tables before they went into the garbage, but on occasion would pull them out of the trash for freebie food. So not you know, to the extent of, I'm gonna go and try and scam the system.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
like, still...
I don't know, like, I guess they budgeted for, like, that much food to be given away. So.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I think you come up with a percentage of what you expect to get thrown out, though. Like, with the roll up the rim for Tim Hortons, they probably have so many they expect to get thrown out that nobody actually claims.
Yeah. I did work at the first summer I ever lived here in Victoria, I found work, because I'd been a barista before, and so when it came time to go get a job, I was like, alright, barista work it is, because again, I had no idea that there was this wonderful alternative where you didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, those are good jobs.
But...
They're difficult to find.
They're difficult to find, and it takes, but, so I found work at this little tiny cafe that no longer exists, but it was right on the main tourist strip. This was on Government Street, where 10,000 Villages is now. Smack in the middle of cruise ship tourist
land.
I heard it's really hectic down there I haven't had to work.
Boy, howdy, is it ever?
Retail, so.
Well, first of all, this cafe wasn't very well managed, so the owners decided to put the short shift people on during Canada Day, when there was a free Feist concert on the lawn of the legislature 3 blocks away. So they came in, they decided to take the vacation day, and then when we called them and we were like, we are literally swamped out the door, we need your help, they came in, like, all grumbling about it. It was like, you should have been able to anticipate this.
Yeah.
Canada Day is not a new thing.
No, it's been around for a while.
But we had people who came in, and we served sandwiches, typical cafe stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd never these people would come in and just be like, just assume we were Subway, and just be like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. We were like, I don't have any of that. We have these options. They were like, well, like this was not an assemble your own sandwich place. This was, we had 5 options for sandwiches, mustard or no mustard, whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I had one woman with her son who would just like, she was like, what do you want? And son said nothing, and she was just like, can we just get a cheese sandwich? I was like, I guess yes, sort of. Maybe, and it just like
cheese and bread. I guess if that's what you want.
And and then I rang it up, and she was like, "That's way too much money." I was like, "There is no button for cheese sandwich." Like I don't know what to tell you. That was also it was the kind of place where like the owner, and this is really something that bothers me a lot, and it happened to me a lot when I was a teenager. I think it happens to a lot of teenagers when they work, but when you have a boss who will throw you under the bus in service to the customer.
Yeah, I've worked a few of those.
Yeah. So we had this thing, because these are all American cruise ship tourists who have been in Alaska for a week, and then they get dropped off on their very last night in Canada, and some of them don't even realize they're in Canada until the change starts coming back in funny colors.
They're angry about that.
And they're pissed
they're
about
really-
that,
they
and
get
they
angry
do
about that.
not understand the toonie. Like, at all.
No.
On a conceptual level.
Why would they?
They have the basic concept of the loony, the one coin.
Okay, that kills me though, because from working in retail for way too long,
Yeah.
I've had so many people come up to me being like, I get that this is $1.
Yeah.
I get that this is $2 because it's 2 different colors.
Yeah.
What the hell is the rest of this? And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's literally the
The
same
same
size
size.
as all of your coins.
Yeah.
It says it on the thing.
I used to go through one by one and just be like, this is a quarter. You can tell because it's the exact same size as your quarter and has the ridges around the edges. This is a dime.
You can tell. This is exactly the same size as your dime.
It's not
Yeah.
like we use pounds.
No,
or
it's,
a different form. We use dollars like they do.
But I had, like, they would
Dollars
grasp
and
that the one coin equaled the one bill, but as soon as you threw the second dollar in there, they were like, I don't understand this. I was like,
Hold
it's
your horses
$2.
there.
I had somebody hold it, like, I dropped the change, and they were like, what is this? I was
Yeah.
like, it's a toonie, it's $2. And I actually, this is true, had them look at their hand like there was a radioactive piece of something in there, and look back at me and like, so we can span this
Yeah.
like in retail? It's like, yes.
My favorite
Yes,
is, can you give me my change back in real money?
Well, and that was the thing, is that when I was starting this job, I was watching, as you do, you watch your coworkers to see what to do, and this one coworker who, when they would ask for American change back, she would say, actually, we cannot give you American change back
Because it's illegal.
because it's illegal. And so I said that, and I was echoing that one night when my boss was on the other till, and he jumps on me, and he was like, oh no, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Here you go, like, for you, buddy, here's your American change.
Fuck that guy.
And, like, later took me aside and was like, oh, we don't, I don't want to deal with the exchange rate, when I take the money to the bank at night, so give them back their American change if they want it. I was like, that's illegal. But I will never forget him coming in and just basically being like, no, she's an idiot, she doesn't know what you're talking about, like, I'm gonna buddy up to you, here you go.
Bosses are awful.
Lord Zook, we used to have $2 bills.
Yes.
I remember those.
They were brown.
They were
Ugly
the
as
thing.
sin.
They were really weird looking.
And then everyone
Yeah.
tried to collect them when they were going out of circulation for the longest time.
Yeah, and funny thing, if you guys don't know, Canada got rid of the penny a couple of years ago, and I don't miss it.
Nope.
Really
I like
don't miss it.
It's funny because when Beach and I went to the States the one time and he paid for something and he got like 4 pennies back.
Yeah.
And he was about to pocket them and then he was just like, tip jar.
Yeah.
No,
we
do
really,
not want these.
really do not need.
Tip jar, beef.
Well, no, he put other change in there too, but there was this moment where he was gonna like pocket all the pennies and then he was like, no, I don't want these.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, I've worked a lot of jewelry counters in
Yeah.
like department stores, so I'm sure you're both aware that when you buy earrings, they're fully yours now.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're a final sale.
You cannot return them.
Yeah.
I had a customer
There's
come
a
back one
reason.
day with really like fairly expensive earrings,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe $50 earrings. I mean, it's a department store; we don't get that expensive. And you have to, if you're going to do a jewelry return, you generally have to go to the jewelry counter.
Yeah.
So she comes to the counter, and she's like, I want to return these. I'm like, I can't take those back.
Yeah.
The final sale, they're earrings, hygienic issues, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And then she was like, oh, okay. And then she went to the customer service desk at the front, and they, like, pointed to my desk to be like, you have to go over there.
Yeah.
And so she'd come back, and be like, no, I can't take these back. And she'd go back.
Yeah,
And she does
oh,
this
no.
weird back and forth thing.
Oh, no.
Like 10 times before I don't remember if she gave up or if she asked for a manager at some point, because generally what they do is they go, oh, well, ask for a manager, and then the manager will bow to my whims.
Yeah.
And
By the way,
they
that's a
don't always do.
good lesson for all shoppers, is that for big companies, I can't say this is like a general rule, but usually in big companies, if you ask for a manager, at that point, they're going to do whatever you want, and a lot of people know that, but they are not by any means obliged to do that. They're doing that because it's a waste of time to argue with you, and they don't want a complaint against them.
Yeah.
But for smaller businesses or businesses that are trying not to lose revenue,
Yeah.
they don't have to return shit unless it's like clearly stated in the return policy.
Yeah.
So if you wear a pair of earrings or open something that has a seal on it, they don't have to return it at all.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of customers will bitch until they get what they want.
Oh, yeah. When I worked at the used bookstore up at the university, it's a consignment store. So it was very clearly, we told every single customer when they bought a textbook, this is final sale. We will put it on hold for you for several days if you want to make sure that this is what you want.
Yeah.
But this is final sale. There are no returns. You can only consign it again. And we still would have people coming in and freaking out at us because they were like, oh, I wasn't told that. It's like, yes, you were. You sure were. Also, there's nothing we can do. Sorry. Like,
yeah. And the big lesson to take away from that is that in those situations, like if you're going to go apeshit, the employees that are dealing with you are not being angry with you or like not doing what you want because they hate you.
Yeah.
They're doing that because that's how they've been trained.
Yeah.
And by making a big stink about it, you're only going to hurt that employee who's been trained to say no until the manager comes in and then gives them a warning for saying no.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like,
because you get punished if you do it.
Yeah.
And you get
punished
if
they
you
make
don't.
a big stink. Yeah.
And
It's awful and
amazingly
retail sucks
wrong.
is what I'm saying.
I had a guy come through and he was looking at watches and he noticed that we had the same watch that he was wearing, which isn't like an uncommon thing. People do that when they shop. They're like, oh, I know that thing.
Yeah.
It's recognition and whatever. But then he noticed the tag that was beside on the watch thing that said that it had a 2-year warranty. And watch warranties are pretty much useless for most of the things you actually need a watch warranty to cover. And he was like, oh, okay, I would like to exchange my watch. And I'm like, well, why? There's nothing wrong with your watch. And it's like, well, yeah, I have bought this watch within the last 2 years, and it's like, it doesn't look right, so I want to exchange it. And I'm like, that's wear and tear.
Yeah.
Warranties don't cover wear and tear, and he made a big stink about it.
Yeah.
I had to call it. That was like, I think one of the few times the manager actually said no, which was always amazing.
Yeah, it was always fun.
I need to get Wiggins to tell you some schmeeby schmame stories.
Schmames.
There's a really, really, really good one. But
Yes.
that store is the epitome of the you have to do everything 100% by the book or you get written up.
Right.
Until a customer complains, and then you get written up anyway.
Yeah.
And that is true up until like district manager level at that company. Even the managers get in shit for almost everything, which is unheard of at pretty much every other company that I've worked at. The managers were golden to everybody else. But there's some really good stories of them just like giving the fuck up and just going out and being like, everybody return everything, open or not. Like, fuck it, we don't have a return policy because apparently I'm gonna get in trouble for anything I do.
I hate those days. I think I had one day where I didn't work customer service, and I specifically stayed away from the customer service counter because I knew about things that happened there. But I remember one day I worked in like the housewares department, which was great as a department because no one was used to there being a person there, so nobody called for me and I could get actual work done. I had a manager call me, and he was like, I need a SKU for a water cooler. It's this brand name or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. And so you go and you look. We don't carry that water cooler. Like, we don't have it. And it turned out that it was a water cooler that had been bought 2 years ago, had no packaging on it, was in a cart that they had dragged to the store, and it was broken, and thus they wanted to return it and get their money back for it. And in most stores, even if they will take a return like that, you get credit. And
if anything,
he went and found a SKU out of a book somewhere and gave them $200 in cash for a water cooler that was 2 years old, had obviously just been used the shit out of until it broke.
Wow.
Didn't even exchange it. And I was like, you are shitting me, right? I would get in so much trouble if I approved that. But you're a manager, so I guess I don't care.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, it makes me angry to this day thinking about, like, all the crap I put up with at those places.
Oh, yeah. And then, I mean, I had good stories. Like, I had one, the first coffee shop I ever worked at back in Calgary, and it's a franchise that has recently opened here, which is nice because they have some really good food. Mm-hmm. But I, when it was the evening shift, like the closing shift, there would just be two of us. And so this mom and her son came in, and I can't remember what exactly they asked for, but they basically were like, surprise me, impressive, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put some effort in. And I knew a little bit of latte art, so I made this really complicated, beautiful-looking thing. Okay, and I gave it to them, and they were super impressed. And then when they were on their way out, the mom came over, and she put a $5 bill in my hand and was like, you did a really, really great job, and we're super impressed. And I was like, yay! So, or like, at the bookstore, it was so cute towards the end of my tenure there because these little first years would come in and they were terrified. Aww. Like stark terrified. And I was like, all right, do you have your class list? And like this was in, my rare moment where I would get up the energy and, take the book list and we'd go through the aisles, line by line and load them up with all the books they needed, and they were just so happy.
Yeah, to be getting some helping guidance.
Yeah. It was like, snatch,
Someone mentioned something about moving to Canada from Canada? Hang on. Moving to Canada from America. I highly suggest it.
Canada's... I mean, we've just passed a couple of really, really sketchy laws at the federal level, but... generally, it's pretty awesome.
If you can keep dual citizenship, you're fucking golden.
Yeah.
I went through a big fucking bullshit thing. I wasn't even trying to immigrate to America. Mm-hmm. I was just going there because, as a Canadian citizen, I'm allowed to spend 6 months out of every calendar year in America if I feel like it, minus 1 day. So as long as you spend the majority of the year in Canada, you're still fine.
Okay.
But the relationship between Canada and America is good, but as far as, like, going there or, like, moving there, both countries are really scared of it because your education from country to country counts.
Yeah.
So they're not scared of people coming in from India or China or Japan because if they have a degree in astrophysics, it doesn't matter in America because they don't have the same education standards.
Yeah.
So they throw it out. So if you move from India with a teaching degree, you get to work in fast food in America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're not scared of you staying there for a year, but they're scared of Canadians coming in because our education degrees count. Which is really sad, by the way. I knew a bunch of people working in fast food who had really, really high educations.
Some of those people.
Yeah.
And just like, I was a college professor, and now I'm working at McDonald's and Schmickschmonald's. And it's really sad because I'm like, I'm your manager, and I feel really terrible right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're...
But yeah, if you can get into Canada, I suggest it. Our healthcare is better, the people are nicer, it's safer in a lot of ways. The air is cleaner, but granted, I'm basing this off of Seattle and Los Angeles, so...
We are not governed by... You know that beautiful moment in the opening of Mythbusters where Adam says, I reject your reality and substitute my own? Mm-hmm. I feel like that goes on a lot in America. Sometimes.
Yeah. I've spent mostly, like, PAX there, which is not real time of being alive. It's a completely weird fantasy game. And I spent a little bit of time in Arizona.
Yeah.
Going to a science museum, so...
You really need to experience it. Like, you need to get into a car accident in America. You need to get hurt in America. You need to get sick in America. Like, right. But, like, that's when you're like, oh shit, this is totally different. Actually, little story here. The last time I went to PAX, which I guess was last year, I'm not going this year, and I'm so sad.
Yeah. You and I will have an anti-PAX. Oh no, we won't.
Because you'll be in Vancouver. Sorry. The last time I went to PAX, the first day we got there, so it was like the Thursday before PAX, our bus that we were on going back to our hotel got into a car accident because some idiot drove like into traffic all of a sudden, and the bus had to slam on its brakes.
Right.
And it still managed to rear end the person that went into traffic, but because it slammed on its brakes from going the speed limit down the street.
Transit bus?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Because it had to slam on its brakes from going the speed limit down the street, everybody who's, you're not wearing a seatbelt on a transit bus fell forward into the seat above them, and like one of the people that was with us, who's from Canada, slammed her knee really harshly into a metal bar in front of her. To the point where she actually went on to the disabled pass the next day at PAX because she couldn't walk properly.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, he's
Buster.
He's napping with his
little
face,
feet.
with the little face and the feet.
So when we stopped and we had to like give statements as to what happened, obviously, so like the bus driver didn't get fired for causing harm to her passengers. But then when the paramedics got there to check everybody out, our friend from Canada was the most severely injured with like this big goose egg on her knee.
Right.
Which in Canada we don't really think anything of. We're just like, whatever, I'll go to the doctor tomorrow and see what's up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, do you want us to get you an ambulance? And she's like, no, it's a bruise.
Yeah.
I can still move it. It's fine.
Yeah.
And they're like, I really, really think you should think about getting an ambulance before you do anything else.
You get charged for taking an ambulance in the States?
No, guys, is that most people would sue over something
They
like
would,
this.
yeah.
Ah.
So they were trying to get us an ambulance to get checked out right away to help our case. And until we mentioned, like, it's okay, we're from Canada,
Yeah.
this shit is free.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, see ya. Like,
no big deal.
yeah. But they assumed that we were going to need some sort of compensation from the transit system.
Ah. Okay.
So we would need to get
right.
checked out by a doctor immediately.
Yeah.
Before the evidence leaves your body.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
We were so confused as to why she was pushing an ambulance on us. We're just like, we have ice. We're at a hotel. We promise we'll be fine.
We'll be fine, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know, Canada has it has some stuff figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in for lung surgery 2 months after being diagnosed with the thing that I needed lung surgery for, which is unheard of from what I've, heard of the system in America. Oh shit, we have 5 minutes left.
Wow.
Oh. Huh.
Open questions for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, for those of you who are into this drawing, I'm going to finish it and post it for the $5, $10 patrons.
Yay!
5 is video, 10 is art.
Awesome.
Yeah. Which is going to be a few more effects and some background shit, and then I'll post a high-res one for the $10 patrons. But if anybody has any questions for said doctors... lol, lol, lol.
I'm certified.
Yeah. You can.
2 months is unheard of in parts of Canada, but in Victoria specifically, because it's a relatively small town.
Yeah, basically.
We have specialists coming in here specifically because it is a small town. So the doctor I got was basically Doogie Howser.
Okay.
And he was like, 5 years older than me kind of thing, just graduated from medical school. And I'm like, what's going on, buddy? And he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to, cut into you and I'm going to do this and blah, 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 and this is what's going to happen. I was really, really condescending to him because I was just like, you need to give me more information about, like, what caused this, how can I prevent this?
Yeah.
And he's like, Ash, what's your condition called? And I'm like, pneumothorax. And he's like, what's the full name of your condition? I'm like, spontaneous pneumothorax. And he's like, do you know what spontaneous means? I'm like, okay, bye! I'll see you on surgery day. Fuck.
We've got a question. Do any of you listen to the band Pucifer? I've heard one of their songs. That's the one with the...
I've heard of
I
them.
don't know.
Mila Jovovich, right?
But I'm terrible with bands.
Has anyone here seen Future Diary? No.
No. Also don't know what that is.
Dear Dr. Ash, if you need something to draw next week, could you consider looking into Emily Caldwin from Dishonored 2?
Let me Google that and give you an answer right now.
Googly times. Hi, Amber Becky.
Hi, Amber Becky.
I swear if this is a Rickroll.
This seems like a little elaborate to follow that up for.
It would be
give you
awesome if it was, though.
Yeah.
Honestly awesome. I'll have to watch some, like, gameplay or something, but maybe. She's super cute. And, decently dressed, so yes. That's the thing I could do.
Do you have a gem ship?
Not really, because in my head, the gems are, genderless.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were specifically genderless.
Yeah. They're all portrayed as female. They all have female characteristics and female voices.
But I thought they didn't use the feminine pronouns. And
they do use she, yes.
Oh, okay.
But they're not human is the thing.
Yeah.
They have physical forms, but they are their gem.
Yeah.
That being said, they are very capable of love. And anybody who's watched the show knows what Garnet is all about. And this specific scene that I'm drawing...
which I've seen, you showed.
Yeah. And you know what? It's been out for a fucking year, so if you guys don't want to understand what it's about, stop watching right now. Garnet, the gems can fuse to become a more powerful gem.
Okay.
And even though Garnet is a character from the beginning, it is revealed in this particular episode, which I am drawing a thing, that she is actually a fusion and has been a fusion the entire time of two gems, of Sapphire and Ruby, who are so utterly perfect for one another and so completing of one another that they never break apart. Whereas all the other gems, as soon as they start to fight or they lose their rhythm with one another, they break apart automatically.
Right.
Okay.
But Garnet, she quoting from her, she is a relationship. She is a conversation. And it's gorgeous and beautiful and a perfect reason to watch the show. That it just has little things in it that they don't... Like, it's in the background until this episode.
Like Fury Road. There are parts of it that are in the back,
Like, it's not really the point of the show, but it's so nice that those little elements are there.
Yeah.
But, like, kind of feel like some shows are better when they don't make that the point of the show. It's just in the background. It's like real life. It's just there.
Yeah.
You don't, like, go out of your way to make that
And it
point.
hits you so much harder when you realize what's going on. You're just like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, in this scene, she's fighting a gem who's, like, very clearly, like, bigger and more powerful than her, but because she's got two people doing it, like, she just knows she can take him. She's like, there's no question. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Alright, any last minute questions? I'll give you, like, 2 minutes, and then we're going to sign off. Na 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 na. And she does it singing, yes.
Yeah.
It's a song. Actually, I heard that all of the Crystal Gems voices were chosen based off their singing voices.
Nice. It's good.
And you know I'm going to show Heather that scene as soon as we're done.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Alright.
Any of you play Dark Souls?
No,
I have
but
not.
I've seen Cam play it, and I've seen Cam get really upset when Graham signs on and kicks him off.
I've heard stories.
It was hilarious.
I like watching Cam play video games.
Dear Dr. Mia, who's your favorite in this chat from Q Monster?
Yeah, it's Ash. I mean, yeah.
Was it really a question?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna sign off now, guys. Like I said before, we're going to put this on Patreon for the $10 contributors. And if you want to donate to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/MegaCynics. You can follow me at Mega_Ashra on Twitter, or my comic, which is at MegaCynics. And if you want to read the comic, it's MegaCynics.com. This is...
I'm Mia. I am at Mia Steinberg, MiaSteinberg on Twitter.
And...
I am Heather. Some of you know me as Hodor. You can find me at Lunar Jade.
And, follow us on Twitter. Please tell everybody that they should follow my Twitch account because we talk about things and talk with you guys, and it's super fun. And I'd like to keep doing it.
I recommend it.
Otherwise, I will see you... actually, we might have a special guest on Tuesday, a special stream. If you guys have been watching from a while back, do you remember when I mentioned my tattoo artist from ages ago? She's coming in to visit.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna make her draw.
Oh, yes.
And I'm gonna sit over here and look really, 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 I don't know what the word is. I'm gonna be blown away and just, like, hide in the corner because I could never do what she does. She is fucking incredible, and she will draw something insanely good for you guys.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's either going to be on Tuesday or Wednesday. I will update people who follow on Patreon and people who follow me on Twitter as soon as I know. I don't think she's coming into town until Tuesday, but I already talked her into doing a stream. So
awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good.
That'll be great.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys know and see if people are free to come and chat. She is fucking fantastic, but when she gets into drawing, so there will be almost no chat for her.
Sure.
So she'll draw something cool and we'll chat.
Cool.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
And possibly on Tuesday or Wednesday.
See you later.
Thank you for watching. Wrong mouse, la la la. Bye.